Yo, it is May 23rd, 2022. You already know the vibes. Let's go Mets.
Beats.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mets Life. I am your host, Rompe, and you already know, man, when it comes to the Mets, it's always for life. Brand new series this week. We have 2 series on tap. We got 3 against San Francisco before we come back home and face the Phillies and the Nationals. Very important 3 games here. As we face a very good team, though struggling, a very good team that we got to take advantage of whatever it is they're going through. That's what good teams do. Great teams, especially this team who last year won 107 games. You know, teams that win that many know exactly how to take advantage of moments like this. Josh, what's going on, man? Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Anybody who's stopping by from all the socials, I appreciate you. Don't forget to just pass the word, because you already know this community is beautiful and we're trying to grow this so we could just be better together. So if you're coming from the TikTok, if you're coming from the YouTubes, if you're coming from the Facebook or the Twitter, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate you. Again, 3-game series against the San Francisco Giants. It's a good team, but a struggling team. And when I mean struggling, I don't mean like a bad, like the Braves are in a championship hangover and you see how bad, things are kind of going for them. Now, the Phillies are without Bryce Harper and you see how bad things are going for them. So this isn't that, but then again, this isn't, it's kind of in between, right? So they're a good team, one of the top teams in the National League, but they're a team that is struggling, right? They just lost 3 to their division rival, San Diego Padres, who have a scorching hot Manny Machado, and the Giants just got swept. Since they lost 3 of 4 from us, they have been pretty much up and down. They've won some, they lost some. It's been very, very up and down for the San Francisco Giants. So we coming in there having won another series. Only losing 1 series so far this season, and I love it. I love that. If anybody remembers, I spoke about that. And we're going to speak a little bit about that more, about how important it is that the Mets continue to do what they're doing instead of chasing kind of the success that, though, they're the best team in baseball, but kind of instead of chasing the success that the Yankees have chased, writing your own path, creating your own path to the end game. Kind of what Buck Showalter was talking about a couple days ago. So a lot has happened. Max Scherzer is on the shelf. He's going to be on the shelf for a while. I know I didn't stream on Thursday, so there's a lot that happened. So we're going to talk a little bit about that Cardinals series, and we're going to talk about the Rockies series, and then we're going to get into what to expect for these next 3 games before we face the Phillies at home. So we'll start with the Cardinals series. Another rain out. The Monday game got rained out, so we had a day-night doubleheader. But that was on Wednesday, I believe. Oh no, it wasn't. It was the next day. Anyways, Max pitched. I believe it was a nightcap, and things didn't go well. For Max. He won. He got the win, but he took himself out the game. Was feeling some pain in his left side, and then it was later revealed that he's gonna be sidelined with an oblique injury. It's a strain. It's a low to, I don't know. It's a low to high grade strain that's gonna require 6 to 8 weeks. And then from the 6 to 8 weeks, which is pretty much July, there, he's gonna ramp up. Either maybe get a start or two in the minor league rehab. I don't know if they're gonna do that. And then he'll come back. The goal is once we return from the All-Star break, that the Mets will be getting back both DeGrom and Max Scherzer. Knock on wood. So that's a tough pill to swallow. For me, it was tough. It was very, very difficult hearing that news. So the Mets, they go ahead and they split. No, actually, they won the series. They split the doubleheader, but they win the series. And then that last game of the series, Pete Alonso hits the walk-off 2-run home run. The leadoff walk-off 2-run home run, thanks to the free runner. And that walk-off to me was absolutely one of those things that I was just so happy that we got, because, it was one of those moments where it's like, why? Right? That was the first thing that went through my mind. I'm like, why does this happen? It's like I mentioned before, living in New York, you see the success that the Yankees have had. I remember in 2019, I think it was 2019. Yeah, it was 2019. The Yankees had so many injuries, but they found a way to win 90-plus games. And that was tough. That was tough to deal with. And it's like, you want to just sulk and put your head down and bang your head against the wall, because it's like we're going through this again, and again, and again. But this team is different. There's just something different, and it's not something that it's not noticeable. They have a new manager that knows how to keep his guys with their eyes on the prize, right? Buck Showalter's getting the best out of these guys. And that means something. I know a lot. It doesn't mean a lot to a certain extent when it comes to managers and coaches, because, how good the players are kind of determines how far you'll go. You take one guy out and that's it. Everything just falls apart. Look at the Phillies, right? Bryce Harper, was going through some elbow problems, and then he goes and get something done on his elbow, so he's been out for the past couple games, and the Phillies just couldn't score. Um, so losing one of your best players can impact you in a very, very significant way. And we thought that that was the direction we were heading in the beginning of the season, where we were like, man, McGill, we got him. Hopefully we get something out of him. And we got great stuff out of him. His first 5 starts, he was 4-1. Then he struggled in his last start, got hurt, biceps tendonitis. He's due to come off the IL on the 27th. Whether that will happen is to be determined. I guess we'll find out more information on that by Thursday. That's what I'm assuming. Because that would be like the 25th or the 26th. So we'll find out by that time what will be kind of the fate of Miguel. But if anybody has followed, his mom is super cool. She has a social media presence, and she's on there, and she's always, kind of cheering on the team, rooting on her son, which is pretty dope. But she's been kind of just giving, kind of good, indications, like, once this is done, he's gonna come back, he's gonna be fine, he's gonna be okay. Um, he kind of has also kind of tried to give that hint, like, I'm gonna be all right. So assuming that he comes back healthy, he's good, he's fine, he's over that bicep stuff, we can get some good stuff from him, because we need it. We need to survive this. And if he's pitching great, then good. Taiwan Walker gave a great performance. His last couple starts have been good. This last start against Colorado was his best, I think, this season. Other than the first 3 innings that he pitched in that Phillies game that he couldn't finish. Or was it like the first inning? I don't remember. I think it was 2 innings and then he was out. But Taiwan Walker pitched a good game. Carrasco, he has had more good starts than bad starts. Bassett has been one of our, just the Bassett hound, the dog is out there just, pitching his best. And, so the train keeps moving. The show must go on. And that is kind of the sentiment that Buck Showalter has given the team, that he's told the team. And so that is kind of the direction that we're assuming the team is going to go in, because they've been winning. And he's mentioned time and time again, this is a team that doesn't put their head down. They keep their chin up and they keep pushing forward. And that's a lot of what you saw from the Giants last year. It was a team that really just capitalized on the situation. Dodgers were struggling early, not too bad, but they were, just getting by. They were just doing, it was pretty much back and forth, still one of the top teams, but everybody wasn't clicking. And then they started winning games, and then they made the comeback, but they never recovered, right? And the Giants never really came back down to earth like everybody expected them to. So, that was that. A couple guys that I want to highlight over the last 2 series, St. Louis series and this Colorado series. Luis Guillorme has been absolutely on fire, both on the field and in the batter's box. Jeff McNeil has been the Jeff McNeil that we've known him to always be. And he's shown that, and I'm happy that he has shown that. And we're going to pull up some numbers on those 2 guys in a minute. But the kind of production that Jeff McNeil has given this team is bar none. I mean, you can only be satisfied with everything that you've gotten from him over the last few games. he is eighth in WAR amongst position players in the National League. Defensive WAR, he's seventh this year. He's eighth in hits. Um, I mean, he's putting up some career high numbers here. Career high numbers. Second as a second baseman in fielding percentage. Um, I mean, he is absolutely just dominating. It's fifth in singles. Um, he is just playing some of the best baseball of his career. Um, so we're gonna get into some of those stats. Um, so over the last two, we're gonna highlight over the last two series. So that's the St. Louis series and the Colorado series. Over those last two series, Jeff McNeil is hitting 300 on the dot, with the 300 on base, 433 slugging, OPS at 733. His win probability added for offensive player is at .5. He scored 2 runs on 9 hits, 4 doubles, 7 RBIs, and he's only struck out twice in 7 games. That is absolutely fantastic when you look at those numbers right there. Just to kind of put it in perspective, if you kind of grab those numbers in these last 7 games and you kind of just try to, like, that's a 162 game pace of 208 hits with 93 doubles. So if that pace right there is crazy. If you look at it with 46 runs, if on a 162 game pace, what he's done over these last 7 games, 5-2 in these last 7 games. The batting average on balls in play is 321. So it's crazy. Like he's getting on base, he's getting hits. And that is absolutely what he has one of the hottest players for this team so far this season. Guillorme, on the other hand, another guy who has been playing absolutely out of his mind is, if we highlight these last 2 series, which he's gotten the most playing time, right? He started 5 of those 7 games. So 2 games he didn't start. But in that time, he's batting .556 in the last 2 series. .556 with a .556 on with a .611 slugging. So his OPS in the last 7 games is 1.167 with a .625 batting average on balls in play. That is nuts. That is absolutely insane. 10 hits, 2 runs, a double, an RBI, only struck out 2 times. I mean, that kind of production is exactly what we need out of, let's say, the DH position, which is the position that has basically been in flux, right? When you look at everybody, the whole 9, right? Probably with the exception of third base with Eduardo Escobar, who we're going to pull up his numbers as well. But with the exception of that, because he has been struggling, everybody's just been on point. Everybody's putting up great, good numbers. I mean, the Mets, honestly, my opinion, the Mets have a fantastic baseball team. They have good players on the field, which is something we have struggled to put on, or they have struggled to put on for the fans for a very, very, very long time. So to say I am happy is putting it mildly. Uh, the production that we're getting from this team, in this time, but again, Guillaume is outperforming some of the other guys who have gotten the opportunities at DH. And we're going to speak on that. We're going to speak on the players that we've been holding accountable. And we're going to highlight them as well. But Eduardo Escobar is one of those. We're going to start with him. Escobar, I've been holding him accountable for the last two series. Since then, right? It started with the Seattle series. I said he's the one. I'm holding him accountable. Since then, the batting average isn't good. It just isn't good. Even the batting average with balls in play is not good. It's any way you slice it up, it isn't good. One home run, two RBIs, four walks, struck out 12 times, one sac fly, 5 hits, 4 runs scored, a triple. And that's from the Seattle series. So if we cut that down, right? So over these last two series, like we've done with McNeil and Guillaume, kind of the same. Struck out 8 times, one sac fly, one home run, two RBIs, 3 walks, 4 hits, 2 runs. That's not good. A 191 batting average, on base of 280, slugging 333, OPS is 613. That's not good. None of that is good. None of that is good. So the Mets, again, like, they got to make decisions. I understand it's somebody we signed for some big money. He's making more money than Guillaume is, making more money than McNeil is, and that counts. So I think in the next, couple weeks, because the Mets are winning, so I don't think anything drastic needs to happen. Because if it did, it probably would have happened already. But compare that to Dominic Smith. He has been the player that I've held accountable for weeks. For weeks, I've held Dominic Smith accountable. And something has got to give. Something has got to give. So over the last two series, he's played 6 games. 4-2 the result. We already know the results. He's hitting 250. So that's more than I could say for Eduardo Escobar, right? I know there's a big discussion of Dom Smith and he was going to get traded and maybe that's in his head, but he got to get that out of his head. He has to. 250 batting average, on base 357, slugging 333, OPS of 690, with a 333 batting average on balls in play. 2 hits, 2 runs, a double, 2 RBIs, walked twice, struck out 3 times. So, again, Escobar needs to step it up. Dominic Smith needs to step it up. And JD Davis needs to step up. That's another guy that I've held accountable. Though I've kind of seen something different from JD. So we're going to look at the numbers for JD Davis. We're not going to go back Seattle. We're going to go back. Yeah. So the last 2 series, he's only played four games, 3 games, 4 games. For those 4 games, uh, again, batting average 133. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Whatever Dominic Smith, J.D. Davis, and Eduardo Escobar got going on, they need to get over it. Um, they need to really, really get over it. They need to get through that because they come up in really key situations where we needed a hit and they struck out. And I just struck out fighting off a couple pitches, maybe a 6 pitch at bat, 7 pitch at bat. No, we're talking 1, 2, 3 out. More than I can count. And that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. We need better production from the DH position. That's not good. For the year, he's batting 188, and that's not good. That's not good at all. Hitting 188. Dominic Smith hitting 189. And Eduardo Escobar hitting 203. None of that is good. For his career, Eduardo Escobar is a 203 hitter. So that's not what the Mets. That's not the production the Mets paid for, right? In 2021, he hit 253, right? Struck out 124 times. He had 28 home runs, 90 RBIs. Like, that's what they paid for. 139 hits. Like, stuff like that. Extra base hit machine. 26. He had 26 extra base hits. 3 triples last season. 26 doubles. 77 runs. He played a lot. For his career, he's played a lot. And that's good. Even this season he's played. But gotta produce. He got to produce. 2021 he was an all-star. His only all-star appearance. So this is what he got money for. Because he was an all-star last year. So hopefully he can, put up close to those numbers. Because we need it. Even when he got traded to Milwaukee that half, he had an OPS plus of 113. Right now, 88. So not good. Not good. It just isn't good, right? So these are the guys that need to step up. And they're getting held accountable again. They're getting held accountable because they have to produce. They have to produce. You get what I mean? We're getting that kind of production from Guillorme. We're not asking for 1,000 home runs, but the guy is hitting 339 for the season with the OPS plus of 151. He gets playing time. It's as simple as that. So if he's going to play third base, he's going to play third. If he's going to DH, he's going to DH. And that's coming from Buck. Listen, if you're performing, you're playing. It's that simple. And if you're not, then you're not. You're going to sit on the bench. So it's that simple. So again, that just means guys need to produce. It's that simple. That just means guys need to produce. They need to come through, and they need to do their thing. The door's open, Julian. So hopefully that can happen. So for the last couple series, the Mets have only, since the year started, the Mets have only lost they've only lost one series. Yes. Yeah, go to mommy.
I'll pick now. I'll pick. Oh, that's I'll pick now.
So yes. So over the last couple games, let's see where we are. So yeah, it was a 4-game set against St. Louis, doubleheader on Tuesday. They won. They won one game. They lost the other one. The Wednesday game, Scherzer pitched, that we won that one 11-4, and then we won the Thursday day game in extra innings. Over the weekend in Colorado, Carrasco went off. Pitched great, pitched lovely. They got snowed out Friday. So these last, they played doubleheader on Saturday, and then they played Sunday. They lost the second game of the doubleheader, but they won the first game. So exactly what you want. You split the doubleheaders or you sweep, and you win the series, right? That's ideal. Again, we got 3 against San Francisco tonight. David Peterson faces Alex Cobb. And then tomorrow, Bassett faces Webb. And then Wednesday, it's not official, but Thomas Sapucki will face Jacob Giannis. Or Junis. So that's what the Mets got coming forward. Last time we faced them, we did good. We beat them in the doubleheader. We swept that doubleheader. That was the first doubleheader of the season. We swept that. We lost the next day 5-2. That was Bassett's outing, his first bad loss. Gave up 5 runs that game. San Francisco, then we beat them again the next day. Carrasco pitched great. Fantastic. Phenomenal. It was actually one of the first starts of the season where Carrasco kind of surprised me with how well he was going to be for us this year. So, very good stuff. Very good stuff from the team. And then we come back home, play Philly for the weekend series, where we got Carrasco, Walker, and then it might be Trevor Williams again, depending on what happens, right? I don't think McGill is going to pitch that one, but he definitely might come back for the Washington series if coming back is what he's going to do. So with the injury news, the only thing the Mets can hope for is that they survive June and then play some good ball in July. Because July, they have the softest part of their schedule to date, right? They got Texas, Cincinnati, Miami, Atlanta, Chicago. So hopefully they play some really good ball in that time before we get the big guys back. I know we talked a lot last week about Pete Alonso and how he did in that last at bat against Seattle, where we could have won that game and won the series. And that didn't leave a good taste in my mouth. But he made up for it. He made up for it against the Cardinals closer Gallegos, and he showed why he is that dude. He is that dude. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest. Pete Alonso is clutch late in games. He's done it. He showed it over the last couple seasons that late in games he can hit the walk-off home run against good closers. He's done it against Chapman. He's done it, he's done it against some good teams. Good closers. And he showed it again against that Cardinals closer, Cardinals team that has beat us at home over the last few years, and has actually had our number over the last few seasons, and we showed them, and I'm happy that we've had that performance against them. So the Mets they're gonna come across the toughest part of the season. I believe, in my mind, the season. Playing against the Dodgers, the Angels. Like, this is back to back to back. This is stuff that even the Yankees haven't faced. But this is the Dodgers for 4, San Diego, Los Angeles Angels, and then Milwaukee. All top teams. All in top of their divisions. So, this is where we're going to find out offensively what this team can produce and what needs to be better. Guys that I look for to carry us in this time frame: Lindor, Alonso, and McNeil. Guillorme, if he continues to perform the way he's performing, he's hitting .550 plus over the last 2 series. I mean, player to watch for this series again in San Francisco, if he gets enough playing time, which I think he should. Luis Guillorme is the guy that I believe is going to continue to rake against this San Francisco team and be a thorn in their side. Because he's that good. He's shown that he's that good. And if this is the Luis Guillorme we're getting, he's going to either play the field or he's going to be the DH. It's that simple. Until the Mets can, improve that later on, that's what we're going to get. As we head towards, that July, and then we head towards the trade deadline, it's becoming clear-cut. If the Mets are going to add, they're probably going to add maybe an impact DH bat, like a Nelson Cruz, like somebody who can come into that DH to provide power, to provide a kind of like a threat presence. I believe they would look for someone in that kind of sense. Maybe JD Martinez or something like that. Because they need production out of that DH position. I mean, that DH has to produce. And back end of the bullpen. So we're looking at guys, we're looking at guys like maybe a Liam Hendricks, maybe, just somebody who, is probably going to just get dumped off, and, David Peters. I don't know what David Robertson is doing for the Cubs, but you get what I mean along those lines of just somebody to just add to the back end of that bullpen to give Edwin Diaz some breathing room, right? Ottavino has done good in that spot. Drew Smith has done good in that spot. Joelly's done good in that spot. Those are the guys that I said last time. Those are the guys that are performing well. They're going to continue to perform well. And despite that little hiccup early, and despite some, bad outings from Chase Shreve, who's kind of just his performance has gone down. But other than Shreve performance and a few performances where we just went sideways, this Mets bullpen has just been good. One of the better bullpens out there, but we need better. They need better. They could be a whole lot better. So hopefully they get that this series and going forward this month. That's definitely something they could look forward to. So definitely, that's something to look at when it comes to this team heading to the trade deadline when that time comes in July. To finish off, we were talking a lot about just how I felt about, just the Yankees' performance and how they performed and why I think they've done a great job at taking advantage of teams who aren't good. And that's why they're in the position that they're in. And give them credit for that. But now, they need to face some adversity. Because again, this is what the Mets have faced. They've faced good teams. They've had a very tough schedule to begin the season, and they've done good. One of the best records in baseball for that. So they're battle tested. They're very, very battle tested. Yankees kind of just been, fighting the pillow, Games against the Royals, games against the Guardians, games against the White Sox, games against, the Orioles, games against teams that they haven't, but when they faced the Red Sox early in the season, they lost, right? They did lose the series to the Orioles, and they can't lose anymore like that. They face them tonight. So we'll see. But again, I'd rather be that team that is playing well because they're winning series after series after series after series, rather than a team that goes on a lengthy winning streak. Because trust me, at the end of that, there's a down. There's a down to it. And that's the Yankees are still gonna win 90 games, but they're gonna face that down. And what's gonna happen when they face that down? When they face that bottom down swing, how are the Yankees gonna respond? That's the reason why I'd rather win series than win streaks, because in that, the Mets are 14 in a row in games after a loss. 14 in a row in games after a loss. That is the type of success I want from this team all season long. Winning series, and listen, if we could survive June, here's the hot take. If we could survive June, and then, because eventually I do want them to, win a couple games in a row. If we could go ahead and we could win a few games in a row in early July, against the, Texas and Miami and Atlanta and, the Cubs and stuff like that. We could win against those teams that aren't good, per se. Not to say Miami isn't good. They have a good rotation, but offensively, they're just not what the Mets are, in truth. So if we can, go rack up a couple sweeps, basically what I mean, not win streaks, but, sweep a couple series in July, No, let's say they sweep the Cubs series, they sweep the Texas series, and maybe take either Miami or the Atlanta series and sweep that. I'm good. I will live with that. Going into the All-Star break, I'll live with that. Knowing coming back, the possibility of getting DeGrom and Scherzer off the jump, give me that. Feed that to me. Inject it into the veins. I want it. I want that. So here's to hoping that the Mets survive June, and here's to hoping that the Mets perform well going forward, and let's continue that success. You guys already know the vibes. When it comes to the Mets, it's always, always, always for life. Don't forget, man, subscribe, hit the follow button, follow on all the socials. You already know. Let's go Mets.